Welcome to our Fair Recovery channel. My name is Melissa, and if you're new to our videos and content, I want to take a moment to say welcome, and then I'm so sorry for the season that you're walking through. I personally know how painful infidelity can be, and I hope our time together in this video helps you in some way. And for those of you listening from the US, you know we just finished celebrating the Thanksgiving season and are now heading into Christmas and Hanukkah. And for our international friends, many of you are heading into seasons of celebration native to your country and culture. And in this video, I wanted to take a few minutes to discuss the extra sting that the holidays and celebration times can bring, especially as we try to overcome the pain of loneliness caused by infidelity. The holidays, as you know, are supposed to be a relationally rich time of celebration and community. But unfortunately, because of infidelity, they can become the exact opposite as you feel the debilitating weight of loneliness that the infidelity has caused. I remember the first time I felt it. It was the Thanksgiving right after my infidelity, and I was house sitting for a friend. And I remember sitting all alone on their brown leather couch, staring at the uneaten plastic container of Thanksgiving takeout, wondering if I had the strength to survive the loneliness and regret I was feeling. Unfortunately, you may be having similar feelings as you head into this holiday season. Shame, fear, anger, and grief may also be present as you try to find reasons to get out of bed and try to keep going. And rightfully so, all of these are natural feelings for what you're going through. During the holiday season, though, loneliness can stand out in a way that is so unique. Consider these situations that you might face as the company Christmas party occurs where everyone else seems to be happy with their +1, or scrolling through those endless social media posts and seeing filtered photos of happy, perfect families in their matching Christmas pajamas, or sitting at the holiday table listening to your cousin talk about their new boyfriend and how much they are in love. Each of these, along with countless other scenarios during the holidays, can make us feel like we're the only ones in pain and alone, stranded on this island of infidelity that we never imagined we'd be shipwrecked on. Well, thankfully, this pain doesn't have to be the only thing we feel this holiday season. I want to take a moment to share an epiphany I had while I was out running with my dog this past Thanksgiving morning. You see, as I was running, I was starting to think about the day and how I wasn't going to be having a festive, family, and relationally rich Thanksgiving celebration like I wanted to be having, like I thought others were having. And my thoughts began to go something like this, that everybody else gets to have a happy, normal holiday, and that I'm the only one who feels like this. I also thought, I will never get over my past, the choices I made, and the things done to me. And also just the thought of, why does everyone else get to be happy? These thoughts may be familiar to some of you, and so I'd love to pause for a moment, though, and take a deeper look at these thoughts. My thought of everyone else gets to, is that really true? Or I am the only one who feels like this, is that really true? Or I will never continue to fill in the blank. Or why does everyone else get to? Do you see the trend in my thinking here? That everyone, that I am the only one, that I will never. These are all examples of black and white thinking that I can be prone to fall into in times of stress, loneliness, anger, exhaustion. These black and white thinking examples can cause us to truly feel like everyone else in the world has fill in the blank, and that I am the only one that, again, fill in the blank. And what's especially dangerous in allowing black and white thinking to occur is that it keeps us in a victim mindset and convinces us that we are powerless to overcome the situation that we are in. And now for some of you listening to this, you have been betrayed, and I am so sorry for what you went through. But what's important to remember is that while you might be a victim in this horrible situation, you are not a victim for life. That each of us, regardless of where we fall on the infidelity spectrum, will hear tempting black and white thoughts float through our mind that we will need to do business with if we want to find moments of peace and joy this holiday season. And yes, it is painful. And yes, the work will be hard. But it is possible to find moments of peace in the midst of this pain. And the alternative of letting victim thinking run rampant will be even more painful and will cause the sting of loneliness to be even more debilitating. So here are a few tips to help you hack the victim mindset this holiday season. Number 1, do a thought audit. Grab your journal and spend some time listening to your thoughts, especially as you imagine your holiday gatherings. What do you notice your mind beginning to think? Take a moment and write those thoughts down. Notice also about how those thoughts make you feel in your body and in your emotions. To recap my thought audit I shared earlier, that I'm the only one who feels like this, that I will never get over my past, and why does everybody else get to be happy? So take that thought list and instead go to step 2 and pre-decide your thoughts, the thoughts that you want to have. You see, if those previous thought audit lists, if those thoughts won't serve you, spend some time writing down thoughts that will. And these are thoughts that you're going to pre-decide to think. That at any time the other thoughts pop up, you say no to them and mentally replace them with thoughts that will take you out of the victim mindset and into one of power and purpose. Because regardless of what happened, you don't have to let it take your power away. And my pre-decide thought list now looks something like this: that I will heal from this. That I get to be happy and I will make healthy choices today that will help me feel happy again tomorrow. That I may feel like this now, but others feel it too, so I am not alone in this. And the third step comes from a friend of mine, Joshua, who leads groups here at AR. He says to step outside and take a break, and it looks like this. He invites the men he leads to take breaks and step outside the turmoil they are going through. This could be scheduling a block of time where they mentally look outside of the turmoil that the infidelity has created to see what other positives in their life are still out there. He encourages the men that as they are taking a mental break to write down some of the things that they see, things that they're thankful for. And scheduling a break to look outside the turmoil and to see what is good, writing those things down and making a gratitude list can be a transformational way to stay out of the victim mindset and step back into a place of power. Because gratitude is the doorway to joy. So one recommendation, set your alarm to go off multiple times throughout the day and take a 5-minute break just to step out of the turmoil and glance around. Or take your journal outside or somewhere quiet for an hour or more before you head into that stressful Christmas party or holiday gathering, so you can anchor your thoughts in your mind and your pre-decided list and your gratitude list. You know, you may not have your marriage or relational world the way you want it, but taking a few minutes to jot down what you do have can help ease the pain that infidelity has caused. And I want to close with something from the Old Testament that helps me. And now I know some of you listening may not be into faith currently, totally okay. Hang with me, as I still think there's an important point from it that could help. You see, in the book of Jeremiah, it was written by this prophet who had a really, really rough go of it. And in the first chapters of the book, you hear Jeremiah just unload on God, on how awful his life was and how unfair things had been. And I don't know if any of that resonates with you. It does with me. And my favorite part of this kind of victim rant occurs in chapter 3, where the prophet again is just venting his hurt and his anger at God and how alone and abandoned he feels. And I know some of you feel alone and abandoned too. Because post-infidelity, those feelings are too real, especially as the holidays come near. What I think will help us as we close is to focus in on what happens for Jeremiah in verse 21. You see in verse 20, he's at this point of total despair. But we see this shift happen in verse 21, and the verse goes like this. It says, "But this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope." A simple choice of bringing to mind something good takes him from despair to hope, from isolation to connection. And what does he personally call to mind? I'll give you my abbreviated version of the next few verses, is that God is good, that he's still faithful, and that he's not done working the situation for Jeremiah's good. And so for me, I'm going to add one more to my pre-decide thought list, that God is still with me in this. And regardless of where you are on the faith journey, I encourage you to remember Jeremiah's formula for moving from despair to hope, from loneliness to connection. Take time to intentionally call to mind those pre-decided thoughts and let them lead you through this holiday season, because you are not alone. You get to have a hope and a future, and you will make it through this. And your family here at A Fair Recovery, we get the pain, and we're here to support you as you take your next step into the promise of the better future awaiting you. To healing.